crib. If I got up on a lean, I'm a six. I run the razor with my. If I got up on a lean, I'm a six. I run the razor with my. If I got up on a lean, I'm a six. I run the razor with my. If I got up on a lean, I'm a six. I run the razor with my. If I got up on a lean.
Okay, there we go. Oof. I forgot to plug my mic back in. So, yeah. Anyways, welcome to the stream. First stream of the year. Okay, yeah. Thank you. First stream of the year. I haven't done any content in a little bit. I think I'm kind of against. I don't really want to make videos anymore because they do require a bit more effort, but live streaming's fun. Live streaming's obviously fun. So I can definitely do that. Let me just close this out. Okay. So the whole point of the stream, as you've seen by the title, is programming a Minecraft mod about programming. SMH. Okay. Hello. Smush. Hello, the wooden noob. I know who you are. I'm just not gonna say. I don't know if you want your name said right now. Let me pull up my stuff. All right. Close all this out. So I did a little bit of it just so I can get my feet wet with fabric modding again. It's been a little bit since I did it. But what I mean by a programming mod or Minecraft mod that about programming is I want to be able to solve programming puzzles in Minecraft using like the blocks. So I'm gonna call this. The mod's called programming blocks. So essentially, what we do is we have a bunch of blocks, and we have a bunch of inputs and outputs that we could do that solves programming. So blocks. And we also have some. I want to keep the items to a minimum because I want it to be mostly blocks, but we're going to have some items just because that's how stuff works. So I know one item we're going to need is a data item. So I'm going to call it data. Do that. Make sure I need my live stuff up as well. Are we good? There we go. All right, that's perfect. So, we're going to need a data item just so stuff can go between the blocks. Another thing I want to do is allows Minecraft to become a programming language and uses the one block at a time philosophy to create programs. So what I mean by that is instead of just having a block that has everything part of it, so like we have a computer in ComputerCraft, I think that's what the mod's called, that you just put the Lua program in and it just does everything. I want to have it to where we have a copier block, some math blocks, like essentially a function that you would see in normal programming language, like a parse int, that would be a block in itself, and then you would need to somehow put them all together to make it. So funnily enough, I don't want to have a transport modded item. I just want to use basic hoppers. But to get around that, the blocks themselves are going to be able to directionally choose where the input goes. Probably not in the first draft. Right now, I'm trying to get everything laid out, and then we can make a first draft essentially. So yes, allows Minecraft to. I'm just going to respond to you. I do not have Lethal Company. I'm going to turn off my ringer as well. It's $10 on Steam, isn't it? Hold on. I guess I can look it up. Lethal Company. Yeah, $10. I do not have Lethal Company. It'd be 999 doubloons. I've seen it on YouTube everywhere. I just, I never got it. Mostly because I'm too busy, like video gaming. The only time I've been doing video gaming and stuff like that is during the break. Okay, listen. I gotta move my mic a little bit. I had to move my head. So I'm using VS Code because it's just easier for me. I'm not gonna get the IntelliJ. I'm not gonna get. I think it's called IntelliJ. I don't think, because different languages have different names. I think it's just called IntelliJ for Java. I don't care about Eclipse. I used it before. I don't think it's good now. It's very, very much bloated. And then VS Code, I'm just so used to it. Like I can do all sorts of stuff with it that I wouldn't know how to do with IntelliJ and stuff. And it works. I mean, like they say it's supported. I can't, there's not really a way around it. So I'm just going to use it. Data allows data to be transported between blocks. So yeah, I think that's item. Maybe a wrench. Wrench allows inputs, outputs to be defined. I wanted to make it as, yeah, I get it, but I'm just so used to IntelliJ it feels wrong. It's understandable. I think it's just whatever you're used to doing. I know a lot of content creators definitely have an opinion about what the best IDE should be used. I don't think I should have that opinion. Turn off my phone. I gotta plug my phone up too. I guess I'll plug it up as well. But yeah. So blocks, I already know a couple blocks. So we have a copier. Outputs copy of currently saved input. Currently saved input. And so I guess let me try to get the mindset of this mod. So we uses the one block at a time. I want it to have minimal. Well, I can't really say minimal because all the blocks are gonna have to have a GUI. So let me think about this. So I guess I can't really say minimal GUI. Minimal as in it doesn't have to like go through certain like tons of menus to do it. So I guess I can do that. And then we are gonna have so one block at a time where you just construct it all together. I guess I could pull up Minecraft and show you what I'm talking about. Minecraft, and then it also allows, and then not an entire. At the same time, for anything else, I use VS Code, so I can't really show for JetBrains. Exactly. See, like, I used it for my internship. I didn't hate it. It was pretty good for what I did, but I just wouldn't use it for my own reasons. Not entirely new tech tree, meant to incorporate into Minecraft. So yeah, let me just pull up Minecraft real quick, just so I can show you what I'm talking about. So I'll do it through the mod loader. Let's load it. So so I want this mod to be as frictionless as possible. Obviously, there's going to be some learning curve to it, because that's just, you can't really get around that. There's just going to be a programming learning curve to it. But if you know how to program and you know the one block philosophy, then it should be just a simple jump into learning what all the blocks do and stuff like that. So let me pull this over here. So we'll make it full screen. I'll just make it like this big. Load it up. It's already going to have some sort of stuff in there from when I wanted to do that. So like, yeah, variable time set day, game rule, do daylight cycle. So yeah, so now it's always day. And yeah, I need to find, I don't have any blocks right now, so I'm just going to use a dropper as an example of the blocks that we would have. And then I do have variables. It's not in the creative. Give variable programming blocks variable. Okay. So what I would do is, for example, we have our copier here. Pretend it's a copier. I'll implement it real soon because it's not that hard to implement blocks. Here's our copier, and then I guess if we had a wrench, what should be our wrench for now? This trident's our wrench. So we right click on it. This is our input. We right click on it again. It'll turn to an output, and we right click on it again. It'll turn back to nothing. And then we'll have our hopper on top, and then we can just put our variable in there. It'll go into the copier, into the main input whenever we implement it. And then, well, it's kind of like how a command block. So let me show you what a command block, if I can type command block, where it has impulse unconditional needs redstone. We'll have either a redstone or like an activation mode. So either on redstone, always active, or on input or something like that. And then that would be in here. And so then say it's on redstone, right? Like the input mode's on redstone. If we had a block or if we had a button and we press it, then it will copy, it'll make another variable, but then it would keep it in there if this was just a dropper. And then with that, you could do a lot of things. So say this block is an add block. It's not. And then we have another copier over here. So let me do that. And then what I want for like the vanilla, I guess the vanilla-ish tree, is instead of it, you know, having a mod take those items. It literally just either takes a hopper and it will go in there, or it'll just go straight into the adding block itself. So like if we put the variable in there and we press this, oh, it triggers that as well. Oh, well, does that? I'm assuming that works for any side, yeah. That's kind of a neat feature, not gonna lie. So I guess we'd have to do something like that, and then that would go into here, and then we do have the same sort of feature over here, and then two of them would go in here, and then this one would be set to always on. So as soon as it has valid inputs, it will spit out an output, and then we'll have like a chest here. So it's a very simple circuit. Like this would be a very simple circuit. This would be takes two numbers, adds them together, outputs to a chest. And then, or we can have like a block that prints to the chat for really lazy. But I feel like for the start of it, we can get this feature to work, where we have an input, we have blocks coming in, and then an output. So what I've been working on, I don't know where the variable, there it is. What I've been working on to start off with is just working to get the variable. Oop, I crashed Minecraft. Whew. Uh-oh. So what's the problem? Drawable is null. I don't know what that means. Well, another thing I really don't want to do is to make GUIs, because GUI development in Minecraft, no dependencies. No dependencies. I don't want to have to bring in another a mod to help with all that stuff. So something happened. Oh, well, yeah. That's because I added this. Okay. And so I'll leave this here. I'll delete this because we don't need it right now. Just get rid of all this. And one more. Oh, this. Get rid of the yellow. Right now, I guess I could do the blocks because that's the easiest part. So, yeah, so we have a copier, we have an operation block, so we have an adder block. You know what, I'll call this a copy block. Copier block. Adder block adds two inputs together. Subtractor block. Blah blah blah. It does math essentially. And then that should be it for this specific example for the taking two numbers and adding them together. So we don't even need the wrench technically. We probably could hard code it just to start it off, but I don't know. We'll see. So our first thing is to add a block. So I haven't added a block so far. So I'll work on that. In fact, I don't think, is bag inventory? That was just from the tutorial, but I don't think I have that anymore. No, I don't. And yeah, just cleaning it up. So we'll add another folder called block, mod blocks.java. I'm gonna have the Fabric API on standby because that makes it much easier to look back on, because I don't know the code off the top of my head. I know some of it, I just don't know all of it. So yeah, so here public static void register blocks, and let's make our first block. So public static final block, and we'll just call it the copier block. New block. That's totally how it works. So we need to import block, And then this is where we need our fabric settings, fabric block settings dot copy of, and then I'll make it like a dispenser, blocks dot dispenser, and that's good enough. I was about to say I don't really have a specific, I guess, strength, because most of this is going to be done in creative, so I don't really need it. But since it's a directional, it's not really directional. It has block states, which we'll have to worry about. But registry, if I could spell, registry dot register registries dot blocks block, and then the identifier, so the identifier programming blocks dot mod ID, and we're going to call this the copier block, and then the block itself, which is the copier block. So we have to import that now. That one, and then identifier. Perfect. So yeah, so our copier block technically is added. It just doesn't have anything to it. So let's do that. So resources, assets, models. We'll add another folder called block, and then copier block. There we go. This is where we have the data. We have to have the block states. We'll have different textures depending on the block state. It's kind of weird, but we have to deal with it. So block states, and then right now I guess I'll make it a cube. I also need a texture, so wrong program.net, because it has a little bit more stuff I can add to it. There we go. So what we'll need is a 16 by 16. So new 16 by 16. And then what I'll do is I'll make it gray, like a wait, where's the color? It's all the way over here. I'll make it gray like a dispenser, but then I'll add noise to it. So that's, here we go, noise. Add noise. So we don't need that much saturation, and we don't need to be that intense with it. That should be good. So then we need to add another layer, which is over here. And then this is going to be slightly transparent. A little bit more transparent. Yeah, well, that could work. And I'll put a C for copier. Yeah, actually I'll make it a little bit more transparent. Yeah. Okay. So we'll save that as, is that not Control Shift S, which is what I thought I was doing that. Oh, because AMD is taking that over as a keybind. Oh, I gotta combine it. There we go. And then save as not a text field. Textures. Gotta make a new folder called block. And we're gonna call this copier block. Boom. Yeah, and so then we have a copier block. This is the block. Is this the block state? Yeah, this is the block state. or this is the models, and then we have a new file, copier block.json. And then I'm just going to copy it straight from the wiki. Oop. Move that over. Programming blocks block, and then this is a copier because we don't have directional blocks just yet. And we don't have any block states just yet, so I don't really care about working with that. And then I'm also going to copy this. Technically, this is not going to be what I want. I want it to be I want it to be a directional block that has block states, but we need to have the block first. And then we also need to steal that. So our parent is going to be this, but it's going to, actually no, it's going to be Minecraft block. So it functions like a block. And then we already have the textures. So I think, lang item program, it's not block programming blocks dot copier block has a name of copier block. All right. And then we'll run that, and then if this works, great. We have a dispenser-like block. So let's yeah. Yawn. I actually got a glass of water. My mouth's kind of dry. Forced packet serialization. And then the wolf has some armor equip stuff. There we go. One bread, or one baguette. So if we did this right, I know we didn't do this right, because you want to know why? You want to know why? I'm going to just already close this out, because even though we made the register blocks method, we never called it in the main mod. So mod blocks, register blocks. Oops. So we have to do that. Now we wait again. Hopefully it doesn't take as long, but it probably will. What's even in the Fabric API? I guess it's all this. Right, single player, new world. Now it should work. Now it should function correctly. All right, give. Ooh, it's not there. Copier. Yeah, it's not there. Ooh, why not? Guess I'll look into the error messages, see what happened. Use. Oh, no. Okay, so there's no errors, but there's no block either. So I'll stop running that. We have mod blocks where we register a copier block of the ID copier block. Copier block. Make sure all this is spelled correctly. Models or model block, copier block. We have copier block here, which has a copier block texture on each side. And then we also have this, which I don't. Or is it block slash? Is it block slash block? Hold on, let me look that up. Parent block slash block. Minecraft. Is there, there's a Minecraft wiki, here we go. Okay, it doesn't really help me looking at this, but yeah, it's nearly midnight where I am, so I'm going to head off. Looking forward to seeing how this turns out. All right, thanks, Scorbit. Thank you for showing up for the stream. Yeah, but thank you so much. So I'll keep working on this. Hopefully get that first feature implemented. The one where we could add two numbers, because that would really put everything into place, because then we could add more blocks, or we have the basis to add more blocks, and then we can try to do stuff with that. So yeah, I mean, let's keep going. We can also add a loot table if we need it to be in survival. I highly doubt that this should be a survival thing. It could. I'm not saying it shouldn't. I'm just saying probably doesn't need to be a survival thing. Give. Yeah, it didn't work. Got a variable again. And I made it to where they can't stack, so but there is no block, which kind of sucks. So that didn't fix it. Huh. Okay, whatever. I thought I did everything. Registering your block, okay. Mod blocks. Public side final block. Copier block. New block. What if I just do create? I'll just copy it straight from the wiki. And then we register it, registry blocks, identifier, copier block, with all that stuff. I called it modblocks.register blocks. Oh, I forgot to register the block item. So that's why. Tisk me. Okay, so got the copier block. And so I got a block state, block model, texture, and item model if a block has an item associated with it, which it does. We just need to see. Okay, I think that was the only issue. Just me being dumb, like usual. Ugh. I feel like there's better mod development. I'm not gonna lie, or I feel like there's a better way of doing this. Oh, there we go. A single player. There we go. Here we go. Copier block. Well, it's there. Here's our copier block. The item's not. It's very invisible. But it's definitely there. So we have our copier block with our texture, which is, what I expected. Items missing though, which not fun to say the least. It's a copier block. The item. Yeah. Hold on. Gotta look at. Nice yawn. Gotta see what's wrong. So I don't think this is right then. So do we actually need to do parent programming blocks slash copier block? Do we actually need to do that? Was it just a fool? Probably just a fool. Yeah. Just wait here again. There we go. And then new world. So it should work. It should already be in our inventory, because we added it from before. And here we go. Yeah, so here it is. So I was just being an idiot. So here's our copier block. So we can do, sort of all the stuff with it. Do whatever we want with it, even though we kind of want it to go into, I guess we can add it to this example. We want it to go right here. So what we need to do now that we have a block, is we need to be able to define inputs and outputs. So yeah, yep. So I mean that's just what we got to do. I think we got to make a texture for that, the input and output. So what color should input be? I'm gonna go with blue for input. Paint.net. I'm gonna go with blue. File open. This one. We don't have the original. Ooh, that might be a problem, that we don't have the original. Probably should have saved the original. That's okay. That sucks. Okay, let's just make a new one. New copier block and actually save the original. So it's gray. Boom, bada bing, effects, noise, add noise. Not as saturated. Okay, I'm going to turn all saturation off and just make it black and white. Bit better. There we go. And then new layer. That black with a little bit of opacity. And then we have the C, or we need the C, but we don't need it just yet because we need the input. So yeah, blue is going to be for input. So what's our middle 2 pixels? I think these are our middle 2, so we'll just do that, and then we'll add a bit of shading. Why not? And then we'll have, yeah. That looks somewhat good, right? I think that looks pretty decent. So this is going to be an input, copier block input side. Anything that tells the copier though, I think we're going to be good for now. I think any side that's not an input or output can be a copier, or say copy, or say C, or whatever. So yeah. So we'll combine, save as. Yeah, text message. Copier block input dot pung. Wherever it says pung though is a freaking nature. And then we'll add our C back. So just C. Save as. Combine. File. Save as. Copier block. Yes. And then we also need an output. So let's do that. The output's also very simple. It just goes out. So what's our middle 2 here? And I'll make it orange. And then we'll file, save as. Gotta combine, file, save as, copier block, output. Okay. Yeah. So probably shouldn't have closed it. Again, Whatever, we're fine. We got some. So let's add some block states to it. So I haven't ever actually done that before. It shouldn't be too bad. I'm looking at it now. Oh, that looks pretty simple. Okay, that seems pretty simple. So we need to make a new block. So we're just going to call this the copier block. It extends the normal block. Extends block. And then we need to probably have that. And then we need a static final. It's not going to be a Boolean property because what properties are there? Let me see. Oh, block state should be mostly reserved for visuals, and block entity should be used for a more advanced state. It makes sense, because if it's 6 sides, each side has 3, that means there's 18 possible inputs, outputs, and not outputs, or any inputs. And then that'd be 2 to the 18, which is a larger number. Which I don't think, yeah. Yeah, I probably, okay, never mind. We're not doing block states. That's a bad idea. We're doing block entities. Okay, so we're already going to block entities, which is fine. Adding a block entity. So yeah. So we don't need this part, but we still need the copier block. So it implements, so we need a block entity, so block entity, copier block entity.java, extends block entity, and then we'll input all the methods that we need. In fact, we don't even need right. And then we need programming blocks, or no, mod block entities, mod block entities. You know what, I'm actually going to put that in the mod blocks, so delete, yes. Mod blocks, copier block, got that. And we actually need to change this to copier block, new copier block. Yep, and then that's all fine and dandy. And then there we go. We do that, and then I actually kind of want to do something like this. But then it's going to be part of the copier block, and then copier block entity, and then here. And then in here, this is where we're going to register. Kind of want the registry and the creation process to be 2 separate steps. And then new identifier with a mod ID, and then copier block entity. Lots of copying and pasting because we don't have any special code right now. And then, oh, we already have that. Copier block into T. And just copy it up there. Okay, and then that is now registered. Copper block entity, or copier, not copper block. And then implements, and so then in copier block, we need to implement a block entity provider. Return new copier block entity. Why is no programming or mod blocks dot copier block entity? And then we don't need this because we already have it. And then try to import that now. So there we go. Yeah, and so that now attaches this entity to this copper block, and it can now save data and stuff, which you know, looks cool, I guess. Let me close all this out right now. Yeah. So then we need to, so for serializing data, we need the MBT data. So I'll do that. I won't put anything in there just yet because I don't have anything to put in there, but I'll need to put some super methods in there. Technically it doesn't do anything. Once you've implemented it, you just need to, you simply need to ensure that they're called. Whenever a block entity is modified, call mark dirty. Yeah. And sync for 18 to override to update to initial chunk. All right, and then, so we need this. So this is where this goes. And then we need to import our packet. And then in demo block, oh yeah, okay, I don't need to do ticking just yet. I will. I just don't need it just yet. I just need to see if this works. With inheriting, we need to overwrite this. Otherwise, it'd be invisible, apparently. So yeah. But I don't care about the ticking. I just need the saving and stuff. So yeah, let's run it now. So it shouldn't change anything visually. It shouldn't do that. It should only change stuff in the MBT stuff, and we can just check use a command to check that. So yeah, now that we have that, one thing we could do, so I think, yeah, let's do the input and outputting. Whoa. Just looking. There we go. Speak out against injustice and up for equality. Why is that? Why not using IntelliJ? I'm not using IntelliJ because I'm just not used to it. I'm just more used to VS Code, so it's just what I'm used to. So like I said, nothing should change visually because we did it add any code to do that. But if we do data get block and then this, yeah, you see down there, this has a copier block entity. So if I'm not mistaken, I don't think I can actually push this with a piston anymore, unless that is specifically implemented to chest. So like what I mean is chest can't be pushed, and so yeah, so we can't push this with a piston anymore, even though like a normal block like a stone block can, which I guess I could show it to you, but yeah. Which that's just because it's a block entity. They didn't want to have to deal with moving block entities with a piston, which mods have added the ability to do that. Just got rid of the code to do that. But you know, whatever. But yeah, so our next step is to add a visual state for inputs and outputs. So another thing we have to do is figure out what side of the block we're facing, which I actually don't know how to do, but it will. I think it's a raycast. We just do a raycast. On raycast hit, we see which block face it is, and we also we need to implement. Let's implement that wrench, shall we? I don't know why I did save and quit. We have to go back to close it all out. So let's add another item. So it's going to be an item. It's going to be a wrench item, Java, which also extends item. Actually, do I need to? You know what? I don't need to make a new. I don't need to make a new class for now. I just need to make a wrench in here, and then this is also boom, import, and then we also just register it here as well. So this is going to be a wrench. So item wrench. Cool. And then just add the texture in the model. So we have a new wrench.json, and this is actually going to be a handheld because I want it to look like a tool, and then we need to add a texture, which well, look what we need to pull up again. So new 16 by 16. Technically I could make it bigger, but I just want to match that 16 by 16. Give me a minute. Don't got no break screen. Someone came in and I just had to talk. Now I got a cat in my room, which is cool, I guess. But back what we're doing, making a wrench, making another goddamn modded wrench. It's very, very fun to add to the wrench. There's like 6 I remember playing with all the mods I played with. There's like so many different types. So this is ugly. This is ugly. This is 4, right? Yeah, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That wrench is ugly. So we could do that, but then that's touching, and that's a paintbrush right here. I'm not good at pixel art if it's not obvious. Could do something like this. Let me have another color. Secondary. I'm gonna do some sort of. Let's do this, so then I can fill this in. So then this. See, this just looks. Oh, well, that doesn't look too bad. And then we just need to copy that over here. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. And then this all is okay. Not the worst, not the worst. And then we just need to get rid of this little chunk right here. I mean, it's not too bad. Not too bad. Let me do something like this. Maybe make it a little curvier here. Okay, it's not the worst. I'll take it, and then a little bit of shading won't be too bad. So let's make this a little bit darker, and then just. There we go. Not too bad. I don't care too much about textures. Obviously, if you've seen the variable, I don't care too much about textures, but yeah. So we'll save this as a wrench. This is not a block texture, it is a item texture. All right. Oh, excuse me, wrench. And then the texture's already there, item, wrench. And then we just need to add it to the lang file. That should be it. All right, so let's see if we've added it to the mod. I've been streaming for an hour. Haven't got much progress made. Hello, Kitty. Kitty is licking herself right now. But yeah. Just continue to wait till something pops up. Hey, something popped up. Open that up. And single player new world. Yeah. So then if we give ourselves a wrench, there we go. So we have a wrench. Looks like a wrench. That's all I can really say. I mean, it's a wrench. So then when we right click on a block, one of our own blocks, with the wrench, it should change it from an input to an output. Which is, I have no idea, like I said, I have no idea how to do. Another thing actually I'm going to do is I'm going to make our creative tab, because I'm kind of tired of doing give commands to get our own stuff. So that's going to be, I'm going to make that in mod items. Actually, no, I'm going to do that in mod item group. So mod items is where, if we're going to put the entities in block mod, I'm just going to put the item in item group. There's a new way of doing this. There's a new way of doing this. Adding item, creating an item group. I was about to say 1.20. They changed it. So I have to make my own. Creating an item group. Use maybe before you create them, determine whether you have enough content to warrant as a group. Your item group may be placed impacting and basic. Okay. I'm going to make my own because I just like it to be separate. Even though technically I do want it to be part of Minecraft as a whole, I'm just saying I want it to be separate. So yeah, so we'll have that, and then we'll do modded item group, import that. Yeah, and then new, which will be our wrench, and then what should it's gonna be that, and then well, actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to have a block item, public static final item, copier block item, this, just so I have the item. Import, move you back, and then now we can actually just do that. And so now we have all the items, and so we can do variable entries dot add wrench entries dot add copper block mod blocks dot copier block item, and then item group dot programming blocks dot modded item group. So I'll put that in the lang file as well. Programming blocks. Yeah, and then modded item group, and then how do we actually add that? Okay, here. Register. Then we have modded item group with our mod ID, programming blocks dot mod ID. Yeah, so apparently that's it. So now if we run this, we should see in the creative tab that we have all of the variable, the wrench, and the copier block, which makes sense, I think. Hopefully there's no problem with the register, like the creation and the registry, because this is technically all happening at the, not the same time, obviously, but at the start. Let me just organize this code. It shouldn't need to be recompiled, it's just organization. So item stack wrench, and then add all the items. Hopefully it does not crash when we get there. Yeah. So we have a wrench. I mean, there we go. So programming blocks, we have a wrench, we have our variable, and we have our copier block. And it's in a new page because why not? I'm glad they fixed this bug though. I'm glad they fixed this because it did not look good, particularly good because of the rounded corners. But now we have our own menu, so now we don't have to worry about give commands because, you know, it's just here. Okay, that was easy. Now let's do something difficult. So mod items. So this is going to be part of the copier block. I get. Is there already an enum for top, like which face? I feel like we need to. That's making a directional block. Let's see if that's a thing. Yeah, there is. North, south, east, west. Oh, but that's what it's facing, not the block itself. Excuse me. I don't care about directional blocks though. That's a vertical slab. Finding which face a block was right-clicked on Minecraft Fabric, or just Fabric MC. So it is a hit result. Got it. It depends what you call. So it's a hit result entity.recast. There we go. And then block hit result. Here we go. Let me see. So this is going to be copier block. It's going to have a on use method, which I'm just going to steal from here. On use. If I spell it correctly, it would be useful. Is it use? On break. Am I just a fool? Am I just a fool? No, it's on use. Which is weird. I don't know why it's not. Okay, let me just copy the signature of this then. Okay, there we go. Lethal Company is fun to troll children's lobbies. Yes. That's what Among Us was, to be honest. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, I still see some shorts where they're playing VR Among Us and they're just yelling at children. I feel like it's fake because, you know, but it's kind of easy to do that type of stuff with children. So, you know, it could be whatever. But yeah. So, but for this, okay, on state, on use, and then we have the state, the world, and then all that sort of stuff. Which is good because we can get the MBT if we need it, block hit. But the block hit result is what we need right now. It's funny to put on the mask, sit in the ship, and on alive, many of them. I like I said, I've seen it. I don't really know what it. Okay, I do know what it is. I don't really know how to play it though, so I don't know the stuff around it. I guess I don't know. I'm gonna return a success. So actual result dot success. Grab shiny things. Put it on a spaceship. Cool. See, I would get it, but I feel like it's going to be the type, because I did the same thing with Fall Guys when it got popular. Is I bought it, I played it for like an hour, and then I haven't touched it since. Even though they have a lot more content though, so it's not their fault that I haven't played the game. It's just that's just how I play the games now. Which is kind of a shame, but I'm gonna just do a kind of a debug sort of thing. Block hit result dot what does block hit result do? Well, this get side probably. Yeah, get side. String. Does this return anything? Yeah, this dot name. If you have people with play games, solo kind of sucks. Yeah, it's what I assumed. Do I have to send a text? Yeah. Text dot literal. But yeah, I would play it. Right now, my main games that I play, obviously Minecraft. I've gotten back into that. Usually, it's the end of the year, start of the year, when the new time comes around is when I start playing Minecraft during the summer. Essentially, not the school year, because school year I don't really play video games anymore because I'm too busy. Too busy with everything. It's a cute cat. I guess I could show you. You're gonna get grabbed. I don't know how this looks, but that's the kitty. Can you see the kitty? Let me turn on my OBS. Hey! Hello, Arkansas Tracy. Hello. Here's my cat. Or not my cat, it's a friend's cat, but I live with the cat, so at this point, put it back on. Make sure this is all right. I'm getting blinded. It's not fair. It's my lighting rig, aka a lamp. What's the cat's name? Her name is Jenny, Genevieve. It's my roommate's cat. I get rid of the hair. I'm the only one here right now, so that's why the cat's here, or else the cat would be with her mother. I moved my keyboard. There we go. You living in an apartment? Yeah, I'm in an apartment right now. It's close to the campus, but it's still an apartment. About to say school's not going on right now. I mean, I keep saying during essentially anytime I have a break, I play video games. I guess that's the gist of it all. So if I right click, I don't even need the wrench. Okay, so that's the east. I guess that's the east side. Yeah, it's the east side. So what's north? North is this way. So I'll make a redstone arrow saying that north is this way. I do that as well, but it's funny with how bad home internet is. It's incredible up here. It's very fast. Which is the only reason that I can do anything really. Like, granted, I would say the internet, back home is better, but this is much better than anything I've ever had. So yeah, this is the east. This is the south. This is the west. This is up. I mean, if I do this, price says down. I'm back home, down in the valleys. Yeah. I'm not. I went back home, but I didn't. I didn't do any streaming there, obviously. But it was good internet. But yeah, so we now have the ability. Bad thing. Okay, so the reason why it's executing twice is because we have technically it executing twice, one on the client and one on the server. So if we say if world is not the client, because I don't do stuff client side. It's kind of a bad practice. You can do it, and there are some things you have to do client side. But if you're doing this type of stuff where you're modifying block data and stuff, you do that on the server. And so let that load up. So what we need to do, so we have our get side. We would need a map for the block entity. We would need a map of which side is input and output. So we'd add that, but I just want to just testing everything. I guess I need to not do this as much because it's really slowing down because you have to stop the game. And hello ePro. Hello. Oh, still executing twice. Why is it executing twice? That's not good. Ooh. See if it. Why is it executing twice? Unuse executes twice. Minecraft execute unuse. Okay, that doesn't work. I could provide input, but as I said, amazing. The stupid heart button is in the way, and I can't. So I could provide, but I can't even read the text on the screen. That sucks. That sucks. I'm sorry. Sorry, your internet is not the greatest. Let me do fabric. Fabric. MC on use executes twice. Wow, that's literally a Reddit post. Literally has exactly my issue. Minecraft is a tick system, but also has a rising and falling edge. Make sure you're only operating one of these. How do I check? Usually you check for a tick phase, but I'm not sure how you do that. What? If you're what? Oh, because it's edited, that's why. That doesn't work. I was wondering why they were kept saying spez. That's the creator of Reddit, probably after. Not registering an item. Use block callback multiple times. Ah, that was okay. It's not the server. I just looked at it. It's the hand. So it's the hand. The hand. For some reason, both hands interact with it, which technically I would want. But we can fix this. So it's actually kind of easy to fix this. So if hand dot get item stack or item, sorry, player dot get item, get hand items, get hand items? No, I forgot. What? How do we get you player dot get item in hand? I'm not used to. I've turned into an idiot. I've lost all ability to program. Okay, let me just look. I know there's a way. There's a no, not give item stack. It's you put in the hand as the argument. I feels like such an idiot. I'm so close to my screen. You know what? I have it. I have the ability to look in the code. Hand. No. Am I just an idiot? Oh, there it is. Get stack in hand. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm is of and then mod items dot ridge. Wow. Okay. Don't mind the idiot the stature of my idiotism. I don't think it's a word. But yeah. So we can just keep her going. Another thing we need to do is we need to add visual something when we change the input output. We need to add that visual stuff to it. Manipulating a block's appearance. making a block transparent and making a block invisible. Never mind. Here we go. This is it. This is it. Found the tutorial. Rendering blocks and items dynamically using a custom model. So now this should work, because unless we have a wrench in both hands, like it shouldn't even, like if I right click, oh well, boo. Player.stack in hand is of mod items, wrench. Well, that doesn't work because both of them are working. What if I just don't have the wrench? Okay, it still works. Then what's the point of is of? Why would I? I know it's success. I made it a success, obviously, but then now it's saying it's always successful, or like it's always printing something, which doesn't make sense. Spray is necessary for rendering. Just looking at. I see. Then registering the model. Gotcha. Wait. Oh, wait. Okay, block entity renderer. Is this? I think it's this. It's definitely this. It's definitely this. Get render item. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Besides the rendering part of this, which shouldn't be too hard, the problem is that it's still not right clicking correctly. I'm gonna stop it. So player.getStack, player.send message, and then the side. But it's always sending the message, which means that it's always getting the stack in hand. So actually, let me send whatever the ID of the stack in hand is. Get translation key. Oh, sorry. Text literal player stack in hand and get translation key, and we run again. So hopefully this works. Let's see if I have anything. Just love waiting for stuff to build. It's like the longest aspect of it. Isn't it just splendid? New world. Alright, so we have a wrench. So if I right click on the block, it should tell us what's in the hand. So we have air and then we have air. If we right click, it should be air, and air. And then it has, oh wait. It's not breaking anymore, but it's still executing twice, which I do not know why it is. But it is working this time. It's still executing twice though, which I don't think is right. Weird. But the thing is, I can't say regardless because it's going to affect how we run or we do this stuff. So we can't say regardless of this, but we got to fix the bug. So let me see. Mods. Try to find something real quick. There we go. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. There we go. There we go. Yes. There we go. There we go. Yeah. All right. So source. Ah, there you are. So how do we do that? Gotcha. We can add this specific one, and this should only allow if we're on the client and we're not just right clicking into the air. So yeah. But also what we need to do now is we need to start with the mapping. So that's the copier block entity, which is all this stuff. So we need a mapping and we need to store that mapping. Technically what we could do is we could just hard code it because it is 6-sided. I guess I'll do that just for now. Private int up mode is equal to 0, and then we can also just have a enum mode input mode that, and then we have none input output, and then what we can do is we can just define input mode dot none for all of these. Oh, sorry, private input mode, which isn't used. Up mode down mode is equal to input mode dot none. Private input mode east mode input mode none. West mode input mode none. Private input mode north mode none. but then that leads to really bad code. It does not lead to the best code. So let me... What about a map to direction? So map to from direction to input mode. And that's equal to input modes is equal to new hash map then we import all that, import map, import direction, which is the Minecraft direction. And then when we create it, is there an init? Is there an init? Is it init or is it actually? Okay, yes. Okay. So we have input modes dot put direction dot up, which is this specifically to anything? Yeah, it's an enum. Cool. Yeah. So up is going to be equal to input mode dot none. I'm going to make this public. Well, actually, I'm going to just, yeah. Okay, so then up, down, east, west, north, south. And then they're all none right now, and it's not public. So yeah, so what this does is it essentially creates the block that we had before where it's just all C's. With that, and then now what we need to do is we need to make a method. So public void update block sides with, it's gonna have a direction, and then what will happen is it will get the direction current is equal to input modes dot get direction. Why is he yelling at us? Cannot convert from, oh, sorry. Input mode current if current dot input or current dot is equal to input mode dot none. Then we want input modes dot put. I don't. It's put, but I just want to see if there's a better way of doing it. Put if haps in. It's replace. Here we go. Replace direction with input mode dot input, and then we'll do the same for this. So we have, if it's input, we go to output. If it's output, we go to none. And then output to none. So what this does is it just cycles through each side. So when we right click on it, it just cycles through each side. Yeah. Add a little bit of white space there. And then for the NBT, so we can actually save the block. So we need to, is it write or read to first? Let me see. I just kind of copied this. Okay, writes, so writes last, reads first. Okay. So to write to the NBT, we're saving it. So we need to save our input modes to this. So NBT. Can you store map or put? Is put? Yeah, put. I don't think you can put maps in here. No. So nbt.get or create. So there it is. Let me see. I forgot what it's called. NBT compound. Whatever the case, this npt dot put a int array. Is it int array? What's a? I'll put int. The key is gonna be north, and then input mode. In fact, I might need to. So none is gonna be 0. Input is 1. Output is 2. Input mode int id. This id is equal to int id. There we go. So then now we have a input mode id. So input mode dot id, or sorry, input modes dot get direction north dot id, and then we do that for the rest of them. So we have north, we have south. I love just not putting it in the same way, so I'm actually going to say up, down, east, west, north, south, spelled correctly. And we have up, down, east, west, north, south. So if all this is correct, oh well actually, hold on. Static from ID int ID input mode from ID, and then if ID equal to 0, return input mode dot none is 1 if 2. Well, actually I'll do 1 and 2, and then if it's not, then I'll return none. So if it's 1, it's an input. If it's 2, it's an output. So then what I can do is, where is it? We're up down here. So then we do input modes dot replace, or put. I'll do put. Does put replace it? Okay, it is. Never mind. So I could just do put instead of replace. Put direction dot up, and then nbt dot get int but that returns an int. So what we need to do is we need to input mode dot from ID. There we go. And then we just do this 6 more times. Okay, input up, direction down, not left, east, west, north, south, and then east, west, north, south. Okay. So all that code allows us to change what each side is, whether it's an input or output or nothing. So if we restart our Minecraft, wow, she is zonked out right now. Look at that. She is head over paw. She is trying to sleep. Maybe I'll cover her with a blanket. Maybe she wants a blanket. The cat I'm referring to back there. Oh. She knows I'm talking to it. Is it too bright in here for you? There's only a lamp on. Is that too bright? You sleep with a nightlight. I don't understand why this is too bright for you. Whatever. She's a pretty princess, and so she'll cover her eyes if she wants to. Okay, so it won't change visually, sadly, because I never added it. So I'll add that. But what that does is, if we get the data, it doesn't have anything. So we right click. I forgot. We need to, when we create it, we need to write it. So Merc dirty. We need to do that. Oh, I forgot. I'm not even showing it to you. Merc. Okay, so we got Merc dirty, which we need, and then. Hey man, I followed your 4-year-old tutorial about 3D and I made a simple alpha, beta, or whatever Minecraft clone. Thanks for the help. No problem, man. I'm very surprised how well those tutorials were received, because honestly, all I did was just took all the tutorial because I wanted to make 3D games, and I just took all the tutorials and I'm like, okay, maybe I haven't really seen Lightweight Java 3. It's all. I said 3 and I put up 4. Okay, but 3. There are tutorials out there now. There are plenty of them now, but there was like a couple of them, but they were for 2D games, or not for what I wanted to do. But then I just lost motivation, because at that point I just didn't want to make videos. The whole thing is, making videos is really hard. Like live streaming, it's not that hard. I do what I'm doing. I talk to a camera and a microphone, and if it works, it works. I don't know if it's working, but I'm having fun. I'm doing what I want to do with my live streaming. But thank you. If you got something out of the tutorials, I'm very glad. I mean, that's the whole point of putting tutorials on the internet, is to help people with whatever you're producing. So thank you. Back to the Minecraft. We need to, like I said, we needed to mark dirty so we can put the MBT in there already. And then we also need to, when we call, when we actually do our right click, which still doesn't work. It still does. Granted, well, now I'm thinking about it, it's still doing the item, even though we remove that, which is kind of weird. So, I don't know. Okay, so if it's a wrench, then how do we get the block entity? How do we get the entity? Oh, world.getBlockEntity. Okay. And then we're going to call this the copier block entity. Block is equal to, technically it says it's a get block entity. So I'll do just a block entity. And then if block instance of copier block entity, then we can do the code, which is not sending the message. It is just copier block entity of block. Oh, why are you yelling? Oh, because I'm doing this wrong. It's double parenthesis copper block entity block dot forgot what I called the method. Update block size. Update block size. And that is the direction of the block hit result. Block hit result at get side. And so this should move it up. And then since we're not printing debug text anymore, also how do I make? Okay. Thanks. Also, how do I make it have 6-sided textures? So what you would need to do for 6-sided textures to where it's each side is a different texture is you have a texture atlas, which I think you should have that at the beginning. If you're doing a Minecraft clone, instead of having separate textures, you should do a texture atlas, so just stitch them all up together. There's probably a tutorial out there to do that. But instead of defining one texture coordinate, like, okay, so this is where this is, you would define 6. And you would put all those into the vertex shader, or it would be the fragment shader. And then when you get each block, or when you go to render each block, which is technically not how it works because each vertex, it's a different vertex. Essentially, you just attach a different texture coordinate to each vertex. It's kind of weird. There's definitely tutorials out there, though. I will. Once you get past the differences between Lightweight Java Game Library 2 and 3, there's not really a reason to make or to use my tutorials, because as soon as you got the windows, I don't really want to do a texture atlas really. So if you don't do a texture atlas, what you're going to have to do is 6, depending on how many textures you're doing, because like a Minecraft dirt block or grass block has 3 different textures. You would have to load 3 textures independently of each other, which is possible. It's not like impossible to do. It's just a lot more memory management. It's a lot less efficient because you have multiple textures. Especially if you're doing a Minecraft clone, those textures should be really small. So, but if you're doing that, you just have to load 3 different textures. So you remember how I did? I guess I can pull it up. But when we did the texture loading, we said texture 0. Let me load it, pull it up, sign in. 2-factor authentication. Why am I even signed out of GitHub in the first place? On the mesh, I just have it altered to where I have a texture declaration there. Yeah, give me a minute. I will show you what I mean. 108.029. And then this is this one. And what was textures tutorial 8? So yeah, let me pull it up over here. So yeah, so this is tutorial 8. That's where I did textures, where I make the vector points. It would be where you're defining the mesh. So right here, you see, you would probably have to add a new instance of like texture, because the material the material is the beautiful that image I provided. You would probably have to have a list of textures. So it would be like the top face, the side face, and the bottom face. You would have a list of that. And then in each vertex, you would have the index of which texture you're referring to. And then when you go into graphics to render it, so renderer, you see how we have GL active texture, GL texture 0. This is where you would bind multiple textures, so like GL active texture, texture 0, texture 1. I think it's 0 through 9. I think that's wrong actually. GL, how many GL textures? The function that, so 16 or 48, it depends on the hardware. 32 is the maximum. So luckily, because it's a cube, it's a six-sided cube doesn't have 32 textures. I hope to God it doesn't have 32 textures. More than 32 textures. It's kind of wacky if that's the case. But then in your shader, so that would be graphics shader. Forgot where that is. Oh, it's in resources. Shaders. You would just put, it would be the same thing because you're binding different textures. You wouldn't have to change this. But yeah, that's how you would do. I don't know if Minecraft has a bunch of separate stitches in, but I don't really see an atlas. So what Minecraft does is it has separate textures to begin with, but then at the beginning of the game, it dynamically stitches them together. So here, if we look at the log of how Minecraft starts up, this is really good. Let me find where it says stitching. Here, so right here, created atlas for all the blocks for all the signs. It essentially creates just a giant texture at the beginning. So it starts off with separate textures, but then it stitches them dynamically at the start of the game, and that's good. I see, you never knew that. Yeah, so that's how Minecraft does it. If you want to stick to separate textures and just never make an atlas, have multiple textures bounded, or you could just make the work, pre-make the work and stitch the make the atlas yourself and stitch it there, and then define what each block ID is in the texture itself. There's many ways of doing it. You don't have to do it one way. It just, for this, for atlasing, it works really well with low resolution games because it just, you could put tons of textures in it. What is this, a 1024 by 512? So when I render multiple cubes in the renderer, it will render 6 faces for each time there's a game object. Well, it does that already. What you would do is if you want to optimize that, you just wouldn't render the face. Because that's what chunking's all about. Chunking is taking all those blocks that you have and combining them into one mesh, so it optimizes so it doesn't show, faces that aren't obviously seen. And then the triangles each have their own information. So, but other than that, it should be besides stuff like greedy meshing or dynamically rendered stuff, that should be the base of it. When you get into the other stuff, there definitely is more complications that come with it, but I wouldn't, especially if it's an alpha beta, you definitely do not have to worry about making the most optimized game. You just gotta worry about making a game. So, but other than that, yeah, so that is the 6-sided stuff right there. I'm gonna run this real quick. I think it's gonna work. It's not gonna show anything visually because I haven't added anything visual to it. But yeah. right. Let's close this out. Technically, this is also something you could do in a data pack. I just realized that. Because data packs are really advanced now. I like mod development, though. It also allows me to, if I can't do something, I don't have to work with the confines of Minecraft. Like, I could just, all right, well, if that's not in Minecraft, I'll just add it to Minecraft. With data packs, you don't really have that luxury. You're just going to have to do some wacky stuff. So let's load it. So when we create this, it should, like I said, it should, yeah. So you see we have down, west, XYZ, north, up, east. And then if we right click this and we get the data again, we see that the south side, because that's our north arrow, is 1, which indicates it's an input. And then if we right click it again, it's a 2, and then if we right click it again, it's a 0. So there we go. So that is that, and so we can actually do like all the faces to 1, and besides down, which I mean I could do that. It's just kind of a bit more difficult. But all the faces are 1, so the all inputs. That's a kind of a dumb idea. I don't know why you would do that for this type of example, because if there's no output anywhere, then you don't really have a block now, do you? Or you don't really have a useful block. So like for something like this over here, I would say this is the input. I think I clicked on that wrong. This would be the input, so you'd right click, that would become the input, and then this over here, this side over here would become the output, so that would be an output, and then we add the options to do like run on redstone or run instantly or run on input or something like that. I think run instantly and input are the same thing. Now I think about it, if it runs an input or runs, yeah, so run instantly probably. But other than that, that should be it for at least the state of it. Yeah, so we can start trying to render this dynamically. So to do that, I'm going to load up the the tutorial to do that. That is going to be using block entity renderers. Here we go. Blocks by themselves aren't that interesting. They just stay static in certain size. Yeah, that's understandable. So yeah, so with this we need a renderer. So entity, I'm going to call this a copier block. I'm going to do some refactoring. And in fact, what I could do is I could bring this out, and then entity can go in here, and entity can go in there. So just some refactoring, so all this stuff stays in here, and then we need the renderer. So copier block entity renderer.java. So I defined an X and Z for infinite world-in and spawn blocks repeatedly around a player, and there's a thing that doesn't work called use position. There's a thing that doesn't work called use position, so we don't spawn any blocks in the same place. Have any ideas? So are you spawning blocks or are you spawning chunks? So what you would do if you have okay. So you're using blocks. Used position should work because are you using a set? How are you doing this? How is this how are you programmatically doing this? Like what's your data structure like? Save all this real quick. Okay. If use position, okay, so you are using a set contains. Why are you? That's technically that's 3 separate elements. Are you just using are you using the 3D vector? Are you just using like a vector class to store the XYZ? Because if you're doing that, you're gonna have to use the vector. You can't do XYZ. It'd be something like if this was a class, it's not used. Position pause contains and then the vector. So like if you need to, if you only have that, it'd be something like this. And I think there's a hash. Is there a hash set in Java? Hash set? Yeah, there's a hash set. So you would use a hash set, and what that would do is it would hash this into whatever, like a binary bit, and then it would do that. Because right now, if you just leave it as XYZ, you're technically checking if it has X, the number X, whatever the coordinate X is, whatever the coordinate Y is, whatever the coordinate Z is. Which then would confuse it because you're using single numbers when you should be using vectors. I'm using your thing. Yeah, you're using my vector class. So, yeah, so you would x0, well, yeah, x0z really, because I'm assuming you don't have any y, you don't have any height map to it. But yeah, so what you would do, you would put it in a vector. I'm assuming, maybe we're just miscommunicating, but you need to put it in a vector before you can check if it's used before. Also, make sure you're adding the positions, whatever which into the use position after you generate it. I have that happen many times where I think that I'm using the set correctly, but I'm not. But yeah. But yeah, I mean that's that. I feel like that's just whatever. It's like one of those stupid programming bugs that comes up. Let me get this working. So I need a renderer. So this implements a block entity renderer, and for the R copier block, and then it needs to implement a render method. I don't like how it does that. I don't like how it, because these have names. These have names. If we go into here, we go into render. Oh, it doesn't have a name here. So the blocks have an array list with those X and C's as for loops, and use position is the same and the same for for loop. So it has two array lists. So it has one for the X's, one for the Z's, or does it have one? Hello, what are you coding? Hello, AZ. So I am making, we add the game objects in the blocks array list. Okay, so that's, it really is just the hashing part. I think you're messing up because you got to make sure that you're doing the vectors right. So AZ, I'm making a Minecraft mod that allows us to do like some programming, kind of like how Scratch is. I guess it is kind of, it's Scratch because it's block programming, but literal Minecraft blocks. So right now I'm working on the copier block. I'm using your class for vectors. Well, so yeah, that's what I'm saying is like, it should from what this code is, this code up here, this if used pause dot contains XYZ, this code is syntactically wrong is what I'm trying to say. I'm assuming it's like this. It would have to be something like this. I'm going to put it in the chat. New vector. It would be something like that, or whatever I called I don't remember what I called the vector class. It'd be something like that. Yes, okay, so, okay. It's just, I think we're just miscommunicating in that part. Well, if that's the case, I get the only thing, it's kind of hard to debug without any code. So if you put a link into like a paste bin or something like that, I could definitely look at that. Because it's I think we're just we're just gonna keep talking about something that I don't know if it's exactly right or not. What? Why is that buffering? Well, good luck to achieve this mod. There's a lot of functionality inside Scratch. No. What do you mean inside Scratch? I'm not using Scratch anywhere. I'm just saying it's like Scratch, but for Minecraft, where you can take blocks and stuff and move them around and physically build the program. That's what I'm aiming for, at least, is where you can physically build a machine that does a program. If use contains new vector 3f x 0z. From this code, this if use pause, it looks right, but they're no, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, technically there is a way to implement it. There's another mod where you can use like API calls. I think Scratch has an API. Scratch can do some wacky stuff. I know that. Yeah, I know it's a kid's toy, like on the surface, but it can do some wacky stuff. It's pretty funny. Make Steve walk around the block with block coding in a block game. See, that's what I thought. I thought that was just super ironic that we're it's block programming in a block game, but it's also like I just really like the idea because you see these huge machines to farm items in the game. And then you could do that type of stuff with programming. So like you can. It also is kind of. Have you heard of that letter game? The Letter Factory or something like that. The letter is that what it's called? Game. Word Factory. That's what it's called. So yeah. This game right here. It's where you can make the letters all starting from the letter I. Okay, so it's kind of like this isn't entirely it, but this is kind of the aspect I want, where you start off with something simple, so like an I, and then you just keep chaining stuff together, and so you can get like crazy factories like this, and it can produce like entire words. It's very fun, and I like it. It's very cool that it won the game jam, and it's like, okay, I'm making a game out of it. But yeah, it's really fun. And then so free version, please. I have no money. Make a fractal and I'm trying to read this. I'm assuming there's no words. Okay, there's it. Make a fractal code. That's actually kind of simple. Making a fractal. I mean, you could just look it up. I'm not trying to, be mean. I just maybe a fractal in Minecraft code, but you might have to get like something like in immersive portals to get to that infinite amount of detail, which I don't want to crash my computer. So I dare you to do it sometime. Yeah, no, it like I said, immersive portals, not in Minecraft, in Java. Okay, well, so like I said, I mean here. Coding Train, if I can find his specific video he made. I think he technically made it in Java. It's not Java, it's processing, but yeah, oh wait, no, it's P5.js. My bad. So I'll pause that. There we go. So yeah, he made it in P5.js, which shouldn't be too hard. Where's the final result? I'll just go to his sketch. He has a sketch. And so then if you run this, you can just... Those are scary and cool at the same time. Yeah. Oh, let me try to zoom in. That's as much as I can zoom in. But like, you can make something like this. I mean, here's the code. There's not much code to it. Make that. It's very simple, honestly. It's very cool how it's very simple, but it's not. I mean, explaining it, that's a tougher part. That's a very much tougher part in and of itself. But tick delta. I'm gonna go back to this now. Not to stop the conversation. It's just I've been staring at int var6. No, I mean you can still talk to me. It's just I just like programming too. Okay, so we initialize the client, and then which I already did because we have to use screens. We need to register our block entity renderer. Why is there two different versions? Okay, that's why. Okay, they're both use block entity renderer factories. Okay. Block entity renderer factories. And then we need to put our mod blocks dot copier block entity, and then copier entity renderer new, which I haven't added yet because I have not added a constructor to it. You don't need to add a much of a constructor. That remembered me. I made a program in fact to make a fractal for a competition in France. Yeah. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to say, oh, I misspelled renderer. Oh, it's you making that noise. She's cleaning herself and it's just making a very, very weird noise. Alright, block entity renderer. I think I misspelled it. Yeah. Renderer. Good. Okay. So now we have our render method. What we need to do is we need to change how we render it based off where we change the texture based off what is happening. Sorry, I understand the thing about the hash, however, I don't know how to explain it, so can I get an example if possible? Okay, yeah, sure. Let me make a new file. So, well, Java's kind of weird as it wants. Okay, so let's say you have your world, or you're generating your world. So we have have a list, no, hash set of, let me make this actually a Java file. Test.java, and this will be a Java file. Save. A public static void main, or public static. I gotta make a cold class. Hold on. Public class test. Public static void main. String args, and then it's gonna yell at me because it's technically in a project, but I don't really want to make it part of the project. So let's just say the player position is a vector 3f. I don't know how you did the player, and let's just say it's centered at the 0, 0, 0. I don't care about the errors. It's going to yell at me for errors, but I'm not going to do anything about it. And so you would have a hash set of vector 3f, and I'm just going to call this generated positions, and that's just going to be a new hash set. And actually, I think this is going to be called this is the set. This is something like that. And so then you do your movement code. I don't know what movement code you do, whatever the movement code is to move the player around. And then this is where we generate new blocks. So so when we generate new blocks, I don't know whatever the render distance is. So let's just have a, yeah, so render distance, and let's say it's 100 blocks. Same as yours, expanded from yours 3 or something. Yeah. So I'll just say it's $100. I don't know what the actual rendered 3 chunks. So I guess that'll be 3 times 16. So, and then you'd have a for loop. No, I'm so used to JavaScript programming. Z is equal to 0, or actually, it has to be negative render distance. Z is less than or equal to positive render distance. Z plus plus, like a type. And then we do the same thing for X. Move that over. X, please. X. And then this will also go from negative render distance to render distance. And then you'd say if generated pos dot has or contains. If it doesn't contain it, we'll have the camera position so it stays around. Yeah. So whatever the code is, I just have player position, whatever it is. If the generated position contains a new vector 3f x0z, so if it doesn't contain it, then generated pos dot add that vector, and then this would be like a loop. So while game loop, all this would be in the game loop. And then what? So then this set of generated positions. After you generated the new blocks, you would go through render all blocks. So then that's generating window.is close request. Yeah. So what I just said game loop just to be general with it. And then you would render all blocks. Another thing you could do, because what this would do is this would generate as many blocks as possible, or generate all the ones around that is needed to be generated, but then it doesn't remove any of the blocks that are not part of it. Would blocks be hash sets or array list? I would say make it a hash set, because then it's a bit more efficient, because you don't have to go with an array list. You would have to search the entire. I just make that not render. You could just technically what you could do. I don't think it'd be that efficient. Is at the start of the game loop, you just make a new hash set. That would be the other way. You make a new hash set every single frame. It'd be not efficient because you're deallocating and reallocating memory just like crazy. But you would create a new you would generate all the blocks necessary, and then you'd render all the blocks in the set. So that would be your pseudocode. It's kind of more Java-y pseudocode, but it'd be something like this. Whatever it would be, I don't know. Launching Eclipse. Wait, it'll make a bunch of sets. So technically, yes. This, if you want to, there's a better way. So what I would say a better way is obviously not creating a bunch of sets. And then you'd have your generated positions. And so then it would go through. You would go through and add all the generated positions. And then, but another pass through the list would be kind of inefficient as well. If you had chunks, the thing is, if you had chunks, this would not be a problem. Because then you would just remove the chunk. It'd be, at most, if it's a render distance of 3, then it would be, you're removing at most 5 or 6, which is, in the world of computing, is nothing. That's minuscule. That's why you chunk, is so you can actually deal with larger blocks at a time. But yeah, so it'd be something like this. So I'll close this out. Yeah. But yeah, that is what you do. Oh, excuse me. So I'm just copying right now. So it's gonna be okay. This is gonna be kind of weird, because we yeah, we did that. Okay. It's gonna be kind of weird because we're not rendering an item. We're making a cube on the fly. So render. How does a furnace do it? Control P, not save. Control P, furnace. Oh well, furnace block entity. I mean, abstract furnace block entity. There we go. What this does, this has a property delegate. It's kind of neat, I guess. Don't really need it though. This is all the add fuel, all possible. I'm sorry, I saw this little, I have one that K lines. A developer tried to explicitly make fire resistant item a furnace fuel. That will not work. It's kind of funny actually. It's funny. But yeah, this is how it burns. How do you render it though? Because you need to render it. Or does a furnace use block states? It may use block states. What would be one that has different blocks or like, I don't think anything, I'm trying to think of anything in Minecraft that has like that type of stuff connected to it. Let me see if there's any renderers. Block, oak log, and orientate. Well, that's also part of that's block states. I'm saying, is there anything that's block entities, like is rendering based off block entities? Block. Here, let me look through the code real quick. So where's all this stored at? Furnace. Furnace. There we go. I don't think so. Furnace block entity. See, all this is fine. But where is this coming from? Okay, that's fine. Run. No. Where's the code at? Trying to find the code, like the actual code itself. Data, no. Downloads, no. Not the crash reports. Mods, no. Resource pack, no. No. Build. Generated. Loom cache. Resources. No. Can I right click and just where is Minecraft code store fabric? I was about to say, where is this generated at? Here we go. Gradle. Gradle. Here we go. Gradle. Loom cache. Found it. Minecraft remapped mods. No. Where are generated sources in Minecraft? Where's the output directory? Here we go. Setting up a developer. No. Okay, no, that's not it. Where's my history? Reading the Minecraft source. Here we go. Where is it? Where is it? Gradle caches fabric loom. Which is this is. It says it's right here, but so I guess I can't actually look at the source code like that. I have to control, I have to look through it. Making mod is very hard to think because a lot of things change for each version. And yes. Change face of a block entity. Maybe it's this fabric. Okay, cool, but like implement block entity ticking. I already know how to do the ticking. I'm just saying, how do I render? Because that renders an item, but it doesn't render each face. Okay, cool. What would I cast to? Why would you need a cast? There shouldn't be a cast. It should, if you're doing anything, you should be like player dot position or something like that. You should be only working with vector 3fs. Cam pause is one. Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then Minecraft client.get instance.get item renderer. I don't want to get item renderer. What other item renderers are there? It's camera position, all that good stuff. Yeah, it's whatever it's whatever the position is. Is there get quad renderer? Is there quad renderers in the client? How would I render a quad in Minecraft? Which is a shame to say. Rendering quad. Render quad in Fabric. The renderer API. Let's say it's not even done. Introduction to rendering. Okay, here we go. But that's the HUD. But a tessellator is needed. That's what it is, apparently. Tessellator dot get instance dot okay. Tessellator. So this is what we need apparently to do it. Alright, well I don't need this. Neat. Oh, excuse me. I burped. What I could do, instead of using a tessellator, I could define multiple models and then just render the models separately. Yeah. How are these all vars? How are you using var in Java? How is this possible? Did they add that? Oh my lord. When was this added? 10? Oh, well, no wonder why I'm so used to 8. I'm such an idiot, apparently. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to get the model based off the state. So, but we don't really have loading models into client render block entity renderer. Block entity renderer. What is this? Okay, cool, I know that part, but how do I render? How do I render the block? find multiple models Minecraft. I'm gonna figure this out. So it's not gonna be block cue ball. It's going to be browse Minecraft. That's all I got. Here we go. Some sort of immersive engineering is what it is. Immersive engineer. I was trying to figure out the mod. I was like, I know there's a mod that does sort of the same thing that I want to do. There we go. Immersive engineering. There you are. When I have a different FPS, speeds up because it adds frame, but I want to stay static. So blocks per second divided by. However, I need to transfer that because. I'll wait till you finish your thought. So this is up. I'm looking at how immersive engineering does it. It's technically not going to work because it's not a fabric mod, so I can't just copy and paste it. But I do want to see how it renders stuff. Here we go. Because how it renders stuff, like the input and output stuff. Rendered textured box. So apparently you could just have quads. Quad. What's a quad emitter? I don't know what I'm doing. Because FPS is in the window in class, but it's something that is not window. So for move speed to map that to the move to the FPS, you would have to have a delta time. Feel static and wait in game. I want to say static in-game, so block per second divided by FPS, however. Delta time. Delta time, so, I mean, obviously, you can see it right here on the screen. If you want, instead of going based off the frame, you have to go off based off the passage of time, which, I mean, that kind of makes sense, you know, from an overhead perspective, but you would need, I don't think I don't think I ever added delta time to rendering, because I never needed to. But what you would do is you would add based off delta time in your window calculation. I think, is window a static class? So whatever the static class is, you would add that delta time calculation, which is just like current time minus previous time. You had something called time. Yes. So I don't remember what I did, but it's something along those lines. In frames. Yeah, so it's something along those lines, and so you just, instead of basing it off the frame increment, you base it off delta time. What you need to do is you need to figure out what delta time is, like the actual time length that is, and pass it into your render function, wherever that is, or your update, not your render. Your render goes as fast as possible, but your update needs to be based off of time, so it knows where it is currently. So yeah. So I've now got to figure out how quad emitters work. I kind of want to see this used somewhere, so I'll search quad emitter on GitHub. Search quad emitter. The entirety of GitHub code. Here we go. So that's that, which I don't care. Wait. Ooh, here's something. Here's something that is useful, apparently. Copycat step model. Wait. So, copycat block, is that it? Copycat model. I gotta figure it out. Here we go. Mesh builder. Instance dot get renderer dot mesh builder. Use a mesh differ. Okay, and then what about vertex consumer? Vertex consumer. I have a second clock in the window class, but what it uses it, but I made it somehow. It would be, yeah, it'd be, I think it's the clock. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what it would be, but compact. Okay, I don't care about. Design it. This. How would I do this? Nice stretch. Hmm. Just a Back to world gen. I changed the use position. Keep generating over and over and over again. Still. Wait? So when are you initializing? Are you initializing the hash set during the loop, or is it a global variable, or or is it a variable? Because if you just keep resetting it each loop, then obviously it's just going to keep adding and adding and adding and adding. Or something. I don't know. It's hard to see. It's hard to see what's happening without looking at like the entire project. But that's kind of a big task to do right now. Is there rendering? Not really any rendering. Basics. Hmm. It's what I did at the top. Okay. Static list, use position. Well, it's a list. So, like, use a hash set. Because a list, technically, it won't be the same thing. You have to use a hash set. A list will just keep adding and adding and adding. Hash sets, the whole point of a hash set is that the same state will hash to the same thing. Why? Huh. That's translating, but then that's not really what I want. The blocks are in an array list, but I need to not render. I need that to not render too far away. You could still use a set. A set could be used as an array, or like it's the same, some of the same methods. Not the same. You can use the hash set to still go through iteratively, if I can speak. But yeah. How would I? Hmm. 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 How would I render a face, how do I render different faces, different quads, the same cube? And then this is just rendering the content. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Which isn't the same thing. That should be enough for you to. That should be enough for you to look at it. Oh, did you? Let's switch. There you're at. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at. That should be enough for you to look at it. I don't really have, like, where do I need to look for that? Here we go, world space. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Box get I, get position, get C. Looks like it needs an array list. Well, so yeah, so what you would do is you wouldn't need to, it wouldn't be getting I, because you wouldn't have the iterative. You should be able to hash set to list as well. Java. So yeah, you could do something like this, where you have an array list, return a flower set, which is a hash set, and then you turn that into a list, and then you do that, and then you do the iterative process there. That could work. Just search up array list, or a hash set to array list. Or just maybe what I want. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Vertex consumers. Let me go back and to here. Render. There you go. Block model render. No, render quads. And then vertex consumer dot quad. And then boom. So vertex consumer quad. And then for baked quad and quads, vertex consumer quad. Let me do that. Vertex consumers. Wait, I see the problem. Because there's multiple vertex consumers. going to turn these null for now. Yeah, so it is unknown. Well, then how does this work? How does render item work? Here we go. Put that in the chat, please. Oh, wait, I didn't. This was the hash. Just search up hash set to list Java. Hash set to list Java. Boom. And then looking at the code. So where did they get vertex consumer? It's just okay, so get buffer render layer dot get block layers dot that doesn't seem right. How would we render blocks? Just having fun with it now. Neated. Neat. Oh. Okay, hold on. Vertex consumers dot get buffer render layers dot get. Okay, we're on to something. Block entity dot get state. Okay, and then vertex consumer. Let's go to that. Import. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So consumer. So then consumer. No, I don't want to pay. Okay. There we go. So then now I can start adding quads. So matrix entry, which is just the top of the stack, the quad, the overlay, or well, the red, so I just want this to be 1, 1, and 1, and then the light and the overlay. So then the quad, new baked quad. Factory, baked quad factory. Do, 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 do. The big quad factory dot and then color index, direction, face, sprite, boolean, shade. So I'll say false. The sprite. This is. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. So this is what we needed. We're probably gonna have to make a couple of helper methods. But vertex data, which is just gonna be. Is this an int? Was this an int array? Yeah, int array. So new int array, and then just how do we render one though? This dot quad. So it's a 4f FGH. What's a fade? So what is everything? Direction up. So it's what is the vertex data though? Creating baked quads fabric. Consumer.quad. No. Matrix P new sprite. Wait, what is this float? Color index. I don't know what a color index is. I'm starting to get lost again. There's just so much stuff. I just want to see how baked quad, like I want to see the other entity renderers. Entity renderer registry. Not entity, block entity. Block entity renderer. And then can I like, here we go, look at that, I found it, I found how to do it. So then bed block. Okay. But now I found a way to look at all the other entity renderers, so I can see how they make it. Yes. Okay, that's not. Rented buffer. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay. This is starting to help. I kind of wish this was on its own. Oh, well, beacon block entity render. So now I could just beacon block entity renderer. There we go. See, now I can just look at this and just see what's happening. So then, yes, not you or you. There we go. I'll just close and clean this up a little bit. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna beam face. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Excuse me. Vertices. Okay. Yep. Okay. So we have consumer.vertex. So the matrix is going to be matrices.peak.getPosition matrix. Matrix 4f position is equal to that, import that. Oop. Yes, I guess. And then this is the x, so I'll do 0, 0, 0, dot. I don't know. Dot color. I'll just do dot color, and we'll make it red. And then dot normal. Yes. So this is the X. So I want it to go up. So it'd be this. Will this work? I have no idea. But it'd be cool. It'd be cool if it worked. So it'd be 0 and then 1, and then 1, 1, and then 1. It'd be cool if it worked. Will it work? Let's see. So then all this is doing is just keep calling, and then just changing the numbers. So then I gotta push, and I gotta pop, which I think that's it. Because then I registered it. I already registered it right there. Block NT render factory sub register. So maybe, I don't know. Hopefully it works. Build failed. What broke? Not a regular file. Well, why is it not a regular file? What was it? Copy block Java. Why is it not a regular file? It seems pretty regular to me. It's right here. Here, I'll rebuild then. I'll just close it and open it back up. Oh, you're sneezing. You're just a sneezy little girl. The cat is, but it's now the cat is cleaning herself. Let's see if it breaks now. I was just confused why it said it's not a regular file, whatever that means. So now I gotta wait. Yes, regular file. I am a regular file. Yes, yes. Oh, the normal's not right. That's gonna look funky. Just gonna cancel because it's not compiling. Not a regular file. I guess I'll look up that error. MC, not a regular file. Why? It's not just. It just stopped working for some reason. This is weird. I don't know why it's not working. Just, I don't know why. Just all of a sudden just stood up and broke. Guess I'll do a clean. So terminal dot Gradle w clean. So it might take, and then we'll run it again. So there. Try this again. Oh, still broke. Cannot stable sources accessing unreadable. I just don't. What? Why did it break? It was working before. All right, so it's just close ID, delete the .gradle, start the ID, let the refresh, and download all necessary files. Okay, will do. Close. So apparently my Gradle just decided to stop working. .gradle has been What do you mean it's not? I'll just keep going through until it's all deleted. Okay, so it's all deleted. Loom clash. Oh, coding. Programming blocks. Gradle delete. So nothing there, so we can delete this. Delete. Nothing there. Delete. 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 There we go. So now has been deleted, which is weird. So also delete this. There we go. So that's all we should need for a fresh Gradle. Just broke. I don't know why it broke. So let it build itself again. Hopefully it doesn't break. I don't know what's wrong with copier block. I don't know why I just decided that this would be the instance that would break. Let me check my OneDrive. Maybe it's something to do with that. No. Doesn't look like it. Gradle for Java. Let me check it out. Once I get something rendering or something, I might end the stream because I have been streaming for 3.5 hours, so it's quite a while. Don't got the endurance, considering this is the first time I've streamed in quite a while. Oh. Okay, that's weird. What went wrong? Failed to set up Minecraft because it's being used in another process. It just keeps failing. You know what? Any Gradle instances will be terminated. Where? Show your face. Hello there. You look like a Gradle instance. Goodbye. Try that again, Gradle. Try it again. There we go. Still failed. Okay. My lord. Oh, my lord. So build and Gradle shall be removed again. Built back. I don't know why. This is just... I might actually end the stream now so I can fix this. I have to restart my computer. That might be the problem. Let's try this one more time. Hopefully it does not break. I know there's an existing Loom cache because what's the point of that is because there's a already tried building this before. Or I have built it before. That's the crazy thing. Hopefully, when this is all done, this will be much easier to implement for the other blocks because we've already did it. So, yeah. Nope, it failed. And what was the reason? Failed to apply access winders. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to restart my computer. Well, kind of sucks, but hey, this kind of happens that way. I can't really say much of anything. So thank you guys for watching the stream. I'll probably stream again soon. Definitely after this is fixed. I have to restart my computer probably because the Gradle instance is running. I don't know where they are, but they are running. So yeah, so thank you guys so much. Yeah, so have a good day, have a good night, have a good whatever your time zone it is. Yeah, thank you.